Hello, I'm John Furrier with theCUBE here at our New York Stock Exchange CUBE studios. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley to Wall Street. This is a Boomi World preview. Ed Macosky's here, Boomi's CPTO, Chief Product and Technology Officer. CUBE, great to see you on this Boomi preview. How's it going?
It's going great. It's great to be here.
All right, so we got the event coming up, and we've covered you guys over the years. SaaS world, applications, cloud native. Now we're kind of in this next chapter, and we've had many conversations at Boomi World over the years about this one topic, but now the agentic workers, the digital workers, are going to be front and center about how to get that enabled. Take us through the setup for that, because last year was an experimentation year. We're seeing a lot more agents in production, well-formed workflows. I wouldn't say super risky, but they're out there, but yet there's a whole nother level. Set the table on where we're at from a transition from the experimentation to the real work that's being done for production workloads at scale.
Yeah, I mean, last year was, as you mentioned, it was a setting the stage, experimentation, piloting. What can we do with the tools that are available from an AI perspective, not just the models, but the tools around them. This year, the pressure's on in terms of delivering results for the business, right? Most companies are saying, okay, we sunk a bunch of investment in the last couple of years, experimenting with tools. We've done some one-off kind of production use cases, that sort of thing. How can we really get an ROI here? So that shift from experimentation into execution is really, really what it's all about this year. And we're seeing some big-time success from our perspective.
We've been doing a lot of posts on SiliconANGLE and theCUBE research around system of record days, goes to systems engagement. Now the systems of execution is a big topic. And also on the AI side, the conversation shifted from strategy risk to execution risk this year. So there's really no risk in the strategy. Infuse AI into everything, get agents in production. So that's more of a directive. But now people are starting to really muscle down and build up the skills to get that AI execution going. So there's a variety of different approaches. What are the bottlenecks? What are you seeing, and what do you guys are going to be talking about at the show? Because this is the number one conversation from the developers, the AI builders, the deep tech players, and of course the C-suite, highly engaged. This is the number one conversation.
Yeah, I think the biggest bottleneck, I'll say in one word, is governance right now that we're seeing. Sure, doing knowledge worker agents, giving tools to the individual developers, users, et cetera, to get access and leverage agentic technology for their own needs. Fairly easy. You follow role-based access for the individual user, and they can execute those. It's when agents are taking action, particularly on behalf of the company and running enterprise workloads, where governance and access to the data and the underlying workflows, as you mentioned, the workflow within the business is where bottlenecks are happening. That's where security, kind of risks are being looked at right now, being incurred, that sort of thing. So truly the big focus is governance and solving at that layer.
There's been a lot of discussion this year. It's been kind of fun to watch, where it's not just the models anymore. It's AI builders, and that's developers, and that's business people. We're seeing the analytics side kind of come in. The AI builder isn't just a developer, but at the same time, there's been kind of a decoupling, if you will, in the architecture around. You can use whatever models you want, and you can have your own models, but you now have that model. I won't say separation, but the decoupling, but the system has to tie it together. Cloud native is the substrate. That's distributed computing. That's hybrid cloud. So you got almost the nice infrastructure. Kubernetes containers have done their job. Now you have this build out going on above that. That's going to enable this new era. Talk about this, because this is going to usher in the agents. We saw coding. Coding happened in the enterprise. That shows productivity, that shows real business value. Now you're going to have probably agents follow on the coding. So share your vision on what we're going to expect to hear around this build out piece. It's kind of an ops execution piece. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, great question. So there's obviously the convergence. Models are advancing at light speed. Large language models, small language models, et cetera. They're amazing for executing all kinds of different workloads. Models to date have been primarily based at a centralized place in the cloud. You've got the frontier model providers that are providing those from a cloud perspective. And now you've got these models that are moving towards, being able to run distributed SLMs at the small language models at the edge, or frontier models at the edge, or in these hybrid environments. This convergence of enterprise IT and OT coming together with AI, that has been primarily cloud-based, is where this next wave of opportunity is coming to fruition, particularly with what we're seeing now. Governance around data sovereignty. Where is my data going? How do I keep that locally contained? How do I scale up and down the workloads, particularly getting access to my sometimes legacy mainframes or my backend applications? So truly the what we saw, 18, 24 months ago up until this year has been the knowledge worker helping humans accelerate themselves with the likes of ChatGPT and Claude Cowork and Claude Code, even the developer. But now really enabling enterprise workloads at a true enterprise scale and level, and connecting the backend systems that are behind firewalls and ensuring data sovereignty globally. That is what we are excited about, and protecting our customers' data and workflows. And those are the solutions we're offering into the market.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the announcements. I got to ask you about agents, because agents, in every conference, agents this, agent force this, and agent, all this agent stuff is happening. Separate the reality from the hype, because certainly it deserves the hype, because it's definitely going to be something we're going to see. I don't think there's a debate on the what's going to happen with agents. Timing, certainly you can debate that, but where's the hype from the reality? Separate that and share your thoughts on what's the reality in this agent build out.
Well, can't say we didn't tell you so. We called it a couple of years ago that the agents would be out there in the millions, and they quite literally are. AI agents, from augmenting developers and workloads to citizens and the employees of the company developing their own agents with all of these technologies, and that is real. The and the hype right now is that, oh, we've got everything taken care of, everything's governed, everything's managed, or everything's just perfect, right? But that is where the opportunity is. That's where innovation's happening now. Is, as I mentioned, between what we're enabling the individual humans to do with truly governed enterprise workloads and accessing enterprise systems, because these agents, in order to take it to the next level, they need to securely access data. They need to be able to enterprises need to feel confident and comfortable that the actions these agents are taking are not going rogue. And that those are opportunities we're excited to address in the market, and we're working with our customers real time on those. So those are real as well. Lots of hype on agents. It's probably more about what's real versus what's the hype.
Yeah, also people have their own definition. But I want to double click on that, because you mentioned governance earlier. What are the requirements? What's the foundation for bringing agents into production? Again, there's different views on pilots. Some people like to take less risky. Some people go for the hardest problems. Some go for the well-formed workflows. Okay, people can pick their flavor which suits their business. But what elements technically and from a business standpoint need to be in place? Governance, clear. But elaborate on what is involved. What are the moving parts? What are the mechanisms? Take us through what we're going to be needing to be focused on for Boomi World.
Yeah. So what's truly required, and where we've had a ton of success with our customers, is having a strong foundation of thinking about your enterprise landscape in terms of access to your data, your systems, your workflows, and making sure that your data is ready for AI. Making sure you have proper, I'm using the word governance and controls and role-based access, and also making sure your data is clean and reliable. Our customers, luckily, they've been working with us from a platform perspective to facilitate that data foundation within their organization. So adding AI on top of that to take action has been an easy transition for most of our customers, if not all of them. But many organizations today have lived with bad data quality within the organization. They have bad data sets, and the humans themselves look at that data and in their brain can actually translate to what's right versus what is inaccurate. But agents can't do that. They will take data as their source of truth and run with it. So focusing on a true data foundation and also controls from a role-based access control. Many of those we're finding when you start assuming that certain roles have the right access to data. You were finding agents can quickly and AI access can quickly overstep and give you unintended consequences if you don't have proper role-based access for your agents. So it sounds so basic, but with agents, acting like a million times, this at a million times the speed of a human, these things get exposed very quickly. So your foundation again is super important to focus on underneath your AI agents.
Yeah, the data angle is awesome. I think that's what I think differentiates from the cloud native world, because cloud native was more about the
Mhm.
infrastructure. Here we're seeing a lot more data, and it also changes things when you start thinking about the developer, the AI builders, which are on the business side, and the developers, and then the ecosystems as well. It changes the relationship. You guys have done integrations. This has been your core business model, integrating with platforms, and you have your platform. How has this wave changed the requirements for integrations vis-a-vis the old school methods or a couple of years ago? What's changed on the integration? Because you got to be smarter. It's not just connect to an API. There's other things going on.
Yeah, I mean, the requirements, it's not just about having religion in one type of integration type versus the other. Yes, there's API methodologies, API first, you have event-driven integration, you've got hub and spoke, et cetera. So in some respects, a lot has changed. There's emerging standards around MCP protocols and servers and consumers, and in other respects, not a lot has changed. The same types of access, APIs, events, et cetera, still apply. What is coming together is this convergence of AI standards and the traditional integration methodologies, so that you can blend non-deterministic and deterministic, using a little bit of techie terms, but workloads together to really achieve the business outcomes. And the world is becoming headless, and this is a term most people are going to start hearing. There are large SaaS companies that are talking about the headless enterprise. Well, welcome to the party. We've been working in a headless world forever. Us integrators, we've talked about that as composable enterprise and composability. But for AI, having a composable enterprise is extremely important, and we're happy to provide that for
Yeah,
customers.
if you have a composable enterprise, I think one of the things, I just wrote a post on LinkedIn about this, architecture is critical. It's not just one silo; it's a system. Talk about the architecture for there, because you have this is as the top conversation in the tech side, is this is a generational decision. Companies are making generational decisions. Now the good news is you got the cloud native. You pointed that out. We talked about that. But as AI native becomes the practice for the business, headless, personalized interfaces, whatever that is, that's going to have to be driven by an AI native. How do you see that, and what should people look for when they think about that piece of it, that architecture?
Yeah, for me, I think the definition AI native spans across cloud native, hybrid, on premises, at the edge. We truly are having really, really fun discussions with our customers about the convergence of IT and OT, and how these things are coming together in AI native world, and how we can bridge all of the above. And Boomi and our technology it fits in naturally in terms of going from a centralized cloud native kind of deployment architecture for some of your applications and data sources, and we can scale all the way down to the edge and connect to operational devices and bring that all together in a native world. So we are super excited about this hybrid world that is emerging, this hybrid AI native world.
I know you guys have a great event. Looking forward to it. Thanks for coming on theCUBE. One final question, a personal question for you. You and I again have conversations on theCUBE about this in the past, but as the Chief Product and Technology Officer, share with the folks how this wave has changed Boomi as a company. You mentioned some of the things that you guys have done before. You saw agents early. You've been doing integrations for a long time. I mean, integration platform that you have has been doing a lot of the muscle that's required. Share how this has changed your company, speed of velocity on innovation, and how Boomi's position changes in the industry because of it.
Yeah, so we've taken advantage of the AI tech, large language models and AI native technologies just as much as anybody else in terms of I run product and engineering. We are going faster and faster in delivering the value to our customers that our customers are looking for. We've elevated ourselves certainly beyond iPaaS into becoming a full data activation company for AI. And our technology allows customers to apply our technology to help them transition from maybe some legacy systems into an AI native world that we had talked about. In some respects, a lot has changed. We're going faster. We're keeping out on the forefront of this innovation for our customers. But on the other hand, not a lot has changed in terms of the philosophy of what we do. We simplify complexity. Customers are struggling with, there's a million shiny objects out there today. Our team is very quickly keeping out ahead of that for our customers and bringing low code and or no code or natural language solutions now to our customers to help them not focus on the technology for technology's sake, but allow them to focus on what are the business opportunities they want to address with our platform, and then quickly use our platform to roll out these solutions in their business.
Well,
so I'm super excited about it.
It super increases the TAM. You're now solving business model transformation, business transformation, not just a tech transformation. This is like a whole
100%.
nother level. I'm super excited for the event. We'll see you in Chicago. Ed, thanks for coming on, doing the preview. Looking forward to seeing all the news and the announcements and hearing the secrets that you guys been keeping. Steve kept very quiet when Steve Lucas came on theCUBE here in New York. So, but he had a nice smile on his face. He seemed very happy. He had a spring in his step. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right, I'm John Furrier here at theCUBE at the NYC CUBE Studios. Of course, our NYC Wired brand has been growing really at the intersection of technology and money and funding and public offerings, and of course, business enablement, revenue generation. This wave is bringing in revenue, and that's getting everyone's attention. Of course, agents will be on the top of the list. Thanks for watching.